Awesome. Welcome, everyone. My name is Stuart, and today we are going to be looking at SST. We're going to be doing this in two parts. First is a quick run through of this analysis that George Lucas shared, who's one of our investment analysts. He loves kind of following these social sentiment trends. And then the second thing we'll look at is the actual social sentiment dashboard and screener that we use to keep an eye on these types of trends, trending stocks, trending crypto. Super useful, keeping a pulse on the retail investment market and market as a whole. If you can, please like, subscribe. That'd mean a ton to me. Leave a comment below. Happy to answer them. We'll get back to you as fast as I can. Love a good discussion. We'll answer any questions. And I'll leave the links to this article as well as the social sentiment dashboard below. Okay, let's get into it. So SST is surging. This is April 7th. I wrote it at 11 a.m. So let's take a look at what's going on. So there's really two main avenues we look at. The first is Stocktwits, obviously a big stock focused forum that's just like Twitter. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. But it's a good pulse of what's going on from a retail investor perspective. You know, a ton of the posts aren't super useful, but it gives you an idea of kind of engagement and volume. So useful to track from that perspective. What we saw, or what George saw when he put this together, is the average daily message volume, almost at about 4,000. That's pretty significant. So if I think about the average volume for most stocks on Stocktwits, it's at about the high hundreds. So it's almost a 4x of that, which means that something is happening with SST. The other thing we like to look at are impressions. So this is how many people see a post that has the hashtag SST. At 1.26 million, that's pretty significant, especially for a stock that's a smaller market cap, lower float, one that retail investors can have a hand in. So something that we like to keep an eye on. Okay, jumping over to Twitter, obviously, massive platform. It's useful to keep an eye on what people are tweeting about. It's useful for real-time news, information, things like that. In terms of SST, about 1,400 tweets, almost 7 million impressions in 24 hours. That's pretty substantial, especially if you think about the main tickers that are being tweeted about. This is pretty big. The other interesting thing is the influential Twitter accounts that are tweeting about SST. What we like to look at, again, as I mentioned, impressions are super important because it's how many people see a tweet that's referencing SST. What we see is 145 people with a following of 10,000 or more have tweeted about SST, so that's significant. 24 accounts with more than 10,000 followers, and then 3 accounts with over 500,000 followers. This looks like it's getting a ton of attention, which again, for like a momentum play, is great to see. Okay, let's take a look at how we screen for something like this, how it pops up on our tool. So this is a social sentiment dashboard. I won't spend a ton of time diving into it. I'll let you guys check it out. As I said, link will be below in the description. But essentially it scans Stocktwits and Twitter in real time. You get the full list. You can sort, filter by post, impressions, comments, likes, things like that. Change in price, market cap. Super awesome from that perspective. What I'll do is I'll just jump into the stock itself. So SST. Okay, and again, there's a number of different metrics you can select. Helps for screening, understanding what's happening with the stocks that you own, or if you're looking for something new to invest in, a momentum play, a trade, useful from that perspective. So what I'm going to do over the last 72 hours, I'm going to look at price, and then I'm going to look at impressions with price. So obviously, if you see a straight line over market close, it's just the close price and then the open price. Same thing here, close price, open price. So what's interesting, we're on SST. Let's zoom into the 24-hour. So this is where things get interesting. In the last 24 hours, and we'll jump back to the 72-hour in a second, but in the last 24 hours, so obviously, when it's midnight, later, early in the morning, not a lot of people are tweeting about SST, and then we start to see quite a bit of action. So almost a million tweets at 7:30 a.m. Same, almost another almost million impressions at 8:30 a.m. So at this point, market opens, price is at $23. And then if you think about it, so a lot of people have seen tweets that have the cash tag SST. So they see it as a potential play, they're interested in it, more eyes on it, and then we see the price start to take off early in the morning. So 9:30 a.m., bit of a drop, market open. That's somewhat typical. I always like to kind of feel things out for the first 15 minutes, half an hour. But essentially from there, it just started to climb. So started at 23, and then at 2:30 we're all the way up at 27. So pretty significant move. Closed out a bit lower than the daily high, but still quite a significant move. Again, the biggest thing I'd point to is this action right here where people are discussing SST. Now, the other cool thing we can look at is the actual tweets themselves. So obviously the macro view of what's going on from a trend is useful, but then it's interesting to see what people are actually saying about SST. So Unusual Whales, great account to follow, highly recommend it, but close to a little over 500,000 followers. If they tweet something out, that's pretty significant. Stock news and forecast, why is it going up? So gives you a view of what people are talking about. So this was all, see, 8 hours ago, 6 hours ago, essentially post run up. But what I'm going to do is just show you this. So if we click the actual bar itself, we can see what people are saying in this particular point in time. So this was at 7:30 a.m. Like I said, almost a million impressions. A lot of positive sentiment around SST. We look at one of the main tweets again. If 550,000 people see this, boom, SST. Lots of people discussing it. So this isn't even just looking at the last 24 hours. This means that there's still a lot of interest in SST. If you're thinking about playing it as a momentum play, this gives you kind of that social indicator to check it out, keep an eye on it. So again, super useful from not only seeing the overall trend, but then seeing what people are saying. You combine those two things together, super useful, really powerful tool from that perspective. So that's really just what I wanted to show you guys today. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like I said, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment below. Links are in the description. Check it out, and happy investing.